You are walking through the ordinary rhythm of a day, checking the time, waiting in traffic, glancing at your phone, when suddenly the ordinary splits open. The clock reads 11:11, sharp and impossible to ignore. Hours later, a receipt totals 333, its neat repetition almost winking at you. Something stirs in your chest, a mix of curiosity and recognition. You tell yourself it's a coincidence, yet it feels different, almost scripted, as though the universe just leaned closer to whisper a secret. Numbers like 333 and 1111 arrive with uncanny timing, appearing not during dull stretches of life, but in seasons of restlessness, anticipation, and change. They carry the sensation of a sign, a hidden nudge, a shimmer across the surface of reality, hinting that a deeper architecture is at work. They don't explain themselves. They don't declare the details of what comes next. Instead, they stand like symbols at the edge of perception, reminding you that you are not wandering through randomness, but walking inside a story. To mathematicians, numbers are cold, abstract symbols of measurement. To mystics, they are living archetypes, the secret bones of reality itself. Pythagoras taught that numbers were the essence of existence, vibrations shaping form the way music shapes silence. To encounter repeating numbers is to brush against that essence. They strike chords in the subconscious, bypassing skepticism, carrying meanings older than language. 1111 is the clearest of these chords. One is the origin, the seed, the spark of creation. 4-1 stand like luminous pillars forming a gateway. To see them is to stand before a threshold, an invitation to step into alignment where thought and manifestation braid together. People often describe it as a wake-up code, a thin crack in the veil where destiny and awareness meet. 333, by contrast, hums with harmony. 3 is the number of rhythm, beginning, middle, end, birth, life, death, body, mind, spirit. Where duality pulls apart, 3 reconciles. Tripled into 333, the energy amplifies into reassurance, a chorus of balance, reminding you that unseen guidance steadies your steps. What makes them appear before major activations is not accident, but resonance. Imagine the soul as a vast instrument whose strings tighten before a shift. As they tune, certain vibrations become audible. Numbers are among the simplest, purest signals, clean, undeniable, charged with archetypal weight. They arrive not to tell you exactly what is coming, but to remind you to be awake, to notice, to prepare. Skeptics call it selective attention. You notice patterns because you want to, but perhaps that is the point. If your awareness is primed to notice, then you are already tuning into the field of alignment that the numbers reflect. The message is not only in the numbers themselves, but in the fact that you are capable of seeing them. They signal readiness as much as they signal change. At the heart of 1111 is alignment. The 4-1s stand in symmetry, pillars of singular energy, each repeating the other, until unity becomes undeniable. One has always been the primal force, existence distilled into its purest form. Multiplied into 4, it no longer represents a single spark, but a structure, an opening through which intention flows into reality. That is why those who see 1111 often speak of portals. It is not a literal door, but a vibrational one, reminding you that your consciousness is in step with the larger rhythm. In such moments, thoughts gain weight, emotions intensify, Synchronicities cluster. 1111 is not fate imposed upon you. It is the universe mirroring your own inner coherence. 333, on the other hand, is the song of balance. 3 is not just a number. It is the geometry of creation. 1 alone cannot move. 2 creates tension. 3 resolves it into motion. Myths across cultures embed this triadic pattern. 3 gods ruling the cosmos, 3 trials for the hero, 3 stages of transformation. To encounter 333 is to step into that rhythm amplified threefold, a reminder that you are not moving alone, but with guidance, that the forces within and around you are aligning into harmony. Together, 1111 and 333 tell a story of thresholds and foundations. One pulls you forward through the doorway, the other steadies your steps as you cross. They are not superstitions, but symbolic languages, pointing toward the nature of transformation itself. You cannot enter new ground without balance, and balance has no meaning unless you are willing to step forward. To see them is to feel the convergence of symbol and experience. They are markers, yes, but also catalysts. By noticing them, you begin to pay attention differently, shaping your own readiness. Numbers are not inert. They are archetypes humming with creative force, and when they repeat in luminous patterns, they are announcing that a reconfiguration is underway. They are the DNA of experience, rearranging itself before your eyes. Picture a lone traveler wandering across a desert at dusk. The sky darkens, and suddenly 4 stars align perfectly, shining like silver pillars across the horizon. The traveler feels it instantly. This is no random arrangement. It is a gate made of light, calling them forward. They know nothing of what lies beyond, but the recognition is undeniable. This is the story of 1111, a universal myth of the threshold, the passage from one life into another. Now, imagine a child on a shore, throwing 3 stones into the water. Each creates a circle of ripples, and the 3 circles merge, weaving a pattern larger than any alone. The child does not know they are illustrating a cosmic truth, but they are. The story of 333, the synthesis of forces, the harmony of elements into a single rhythm. Cultures have always wrapped these truths in story. Egyptians built pyramids of 3s, pointing skyward to signal the marriage of earth and heaven. Christian mystics heard angels sing in triplets. Celtic tales spoke of thin places where worlds overlap. Thresholds not unlike 1111, moments where reality grows translucent and something beyond shimmers through. Numbers are not mere inventions. They are archetypes echoing across myth, dream, and experience, carrying a resonance that the subconscious recognizes before the rational mind can catch up. When you see 333 or 1111, you are not just noticing numbers, you are stepping into a living myth. The universe is telling you a story, but it is also asking you to play your part. 1111 whispers, "The pillars stand, will you cross?" 333 answers, "The triad holds you, trust the balance." They appear with uncanny precision because activations are not random. They are initiations, chapters in a mythic journey. And numbers, the oldest symbols of all, are the signposts guiding you into the next act. Yet myth becomes alive only when it shapes daily life. Numbers matter not because they appear, but because of how they shift the one who sees them. Each repetition is an invitation to step out of routine and into awareness. When the clock strikes 11:11, the simplest practice is to pause. That pause breaks the spell of autopilot and reminds you to choose consciously. What are you aligning with? What thought or intention fills your mind? In that second, you are reminded that creation begins in attention. 11:11 becomes not just a symbol, but a practice, a living cue to recalibrate focus toward what you truly wish to manifest. When 333 surfaces, it draws your awareness to balance. Perhaps you are chasing new goals, but neglecting your body. Perhaps your mind races with plans, but your spirit starves for stillness. 333 calls you back to wholeness, reminding you that major activations demand stability. In practical life, it might mean resting when you'd rather push, or listening when you'd rather speak, or tending to relationships while pursuing ambition. Harmony is not abstract. It is the ground that holds every threshold steady. In work, these numbers sharpen vision. Leaders who see 11:11 may take it as a cue to align decisions with deeper values, knowing that growth without coherence collapses. Artists who encounter 333 may read it as reassurance, trusting the process where discipline and inspiration meet. Even in relationships, the numbers carry weight. 11:11 often appears at the birth of new connections, reminding two souls that they stand before a shared threshold. 333 emerges as a reminder to keep communication, individuality, and spirit in balance. Ultimately, they transform posture. Life is no longer a series of random events, but a dialogue. To see 333 or 11:11 is to recognize that the universe is speaking and to live as though your response matters. That shift alone can change the trajectory of a life because it transforms passive existence into conscious participation. Patterns stir wonder because they remind us that life is not noise, but music. 333 and 11:11 are not arbitrary quirks of perception, but symbols with weight, invitations into awareness at the very moment change approaches. They are not causes of transformation, but catalysts, nudging you awake so that when the doorway opens, you are ready to walk through. 11:11 is the threshold. It calls you to align, to step forward with clarity, to remember that your awareness shapes what comes next. 333 is the chorus of balance, reminding you that every threshold requires harmony, that body, mind, and spirit must sing together if the song of your life is to endure. Together, they weave the story of every activation. Courage to step forward, wisdom to remain whole. The call is not to idolize numbers, but to listen. They are reminders that reality is alive, that the universe is not silent, but conversing, and that you are part of that dialogue. Each time you see them, you are invited to pause, to breathe, to recalibrate. To notice them is to accept your role as co-creator, to recognize that your focus is a seed and your life the garden it grows. So, when the numbers appear again, on a clock, a receipt, a license plate, do not look away. Let wonder stir. Let it remind you that you are standing at a threshold held by harmony, watched over by a universe that speaks in the oldest language of all, the rhythm of numbers. Step through with courage, step through with balance, step through awake.